Bo-Katan Mandalore is finally here in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the latest epic confrontation character since the last one we had, Darth Malak, in 2019. Does she live up to the hype? Is she bringing a good name to epic confrontation characters? Well, before we even get into Grand Arena and turn on the Omicrons, we're seeing that her and the Mandalorians are ushering a new era for Mandalore and taking out a lot of the top shelf talent in the game. With her deadly assist, the insane amount of durability and damage that this team has, it's gonna go toe-to-toe with even some galactic legends, like developers said, with her amazing double swarm ability, the incredible durability and defense on this team. They dish out some serious damage. You're definitely gonna be smiling a lot when using this character, I bet. However, there are a few kind of annoying things about the team that I wish they addressed when designing this character. Just like how we're going to address today's sponsor! Have you ever wanted to be like me and command your own fleet? Or maybe you wanted to build your own arsenal of ships? Well, now you can with today's sponsor, Star Trek Fleet Command. You can create your own intergalactic empire in Star Trek Fleet Command, whether that's on PC, and it's even cross-play on mobile devices. It's got hero collector elements, where you can recruit some of your favorite characters from the Star Trek universe, from the Next Generation, the original series, J.J. Abrams films, and more.
And you can build powerful ships, such as the Enterprise, the Warbird, and the Klingon Bird of Prey.
With this game being free and new events every month, with millions of players to join, to forge alliances, defeat your enemies, and conquer territories, you too can choose your faction and explore new worlds on an intergalactic mission. And be sure to check out the new feature, Wave Defense, where players defend a central point from waves of increasingly powerful enemies. So what are you waiting for? Embark on your mission. Become a Starfleet Commander now for free. Use my link down below to get Star Trek Fleet Command and use promo code Warp Speed to redeem these amazing prizes. Go forth, dominate the galaxy, and more importantly, live long and prosper. Now, to understand Bo and her team a little bit better, let's talk about the mods. And our mod segment's gonna be brought to you again by Pimpo. One of the greatest mod masters in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes has put together some amazing graphics, helping you mod this team to get every little bit of horsepower you can out of this team. And if you need to get some horsepower out of your roster, he'll remod your roster from top to bottom. So make sure you reach out to Pimpo if you need some mod help and advice. So I hope you guys have a lot of offense and health mods for this team. This team definitely made me realize I didn't need to farm a lot more offense mods, especially offense primaries, but it's going to pay dividends as we're going to talk it with this team. Bo-Katan Mandalore, you're going to want to have offense health sets with offense primaries pretty much throughout her kit. She doesn't need to be fast. That's one thing I like about this team. You don't really need this team to be fast. Just Grogu and the rest of the team, they're going to have the durability where they don't really need to go first. And we want to make sure Beskar Mando is just slightly faster than Bo. And let's talk about my ideal team with Bo-Katan Mandalore. Now, I think when I was reading the kit reveal, I thought armor would be the go-to because of an extra swarm and the Beskar armor, and that is the case. There are a few instances where I do like the armor, but most battles I felt like she wasn't really helping. So when we're looking at the lineup, it's incredibly clear: Bo-Katan Mandalore, Beskar Mando, Grogu, Paz Vizsla, and the old school Bo-Katan is probably going to be the best fifth member. With her unique ability, Stronger Together, the Mandalorians are going to get an incredible boost of protection that I think we're not giving her enough credit for. Getting 20% max protection for each Mandalorian ally until the first time Bo is defeated. That's 100% max protection. This team already has a crazy amount of health gains, and you get the 8% health protection when you're attacking out of turn. There's a lot of attacks out of turn. I think it's very clear Bo is probably going to be the ideal fifth member for this team. Not to say you can't use armor or maybe even Sabine, but I feel like this is the best one, and she's not really needed for anything in the game. So this is a perfect fit for her. So with the mods and team comp out of the way, at the end of the day, how is this team performing? And now I need to make sure I emphasize this again in case you weren't there for our initial live stream testing of Bo-Katan. This team is a Grand Arena oriented team, so big thumbs up for me, but the problem with that is without the Omicron slapped on this character and we can't see it, there's no other way of testing it out right now. As of now, we need to wait till the next Grand Arena season, which is basically 2024, to see the full picture of Bo. So we're missing out, I would say, about 40% of Bo-Katan's Mandalore kits. This is just the floor, and there's a bigger ceiling. The big highlights for me personally, she was able to dunk Lord Vader. Incredibly obvious. It's a little perplexing for me because we don't need more Lord Vader counters. I would say Lord Vader is one of the easiest galactic legends to beat beat without a Galactic Legends, without Omicrons, all that stuff. For me personally, I think I can speak for most. I think we need counters for Leia. We need counters for Jabba. I think in Grand Arena, she should be able to beat Jedi Master Kenobi, but we're not going to be able to test it out until the Omicrons get dialed in on the team, because once we do get our Omicrons, the biggest thing is, number one, when Paz Vizsla gets insta-killed by Commander Tano, he'll just revive. We can't see that right now. And the other big thing is Bo-Katan, when she's got her Omicron, she can ignore taunts, and that's a big deal, because otherwise we're kind of stuck behind Jedi Master Kenobi. So those two things alone, in my mind, should put Jedi Master Kenobi on the platter. And then kind of again, do we really need another Master Kenobi counter? I feel like 2023 was a big bad year for Master Kenobi. So many teams coming out, starting off with Reva, and then we have things like Maul, and then Leia herself, or countering Master Kenobi. I mean, I'm not going to complain. Having another Master Kenobi counter it's nice, but again, we're assuming that, so we have to wait and see, but put a pin in it. I think another opportunity where she might be able to go toe-to-toe with another Galactic Legend. As I said, I would like a Jabba counter. I can't promise it, but I think on paper, there should be a decent chance we could take out Jabba. In our initial testing, going up against Jabba, no Datacrons, all that jazz, we can see there's a possibility, but the biggest problem is, number one, as I said, we don't have the Omicrons on, so we can't ignore a taunt with Bo. I would love to work through around Chrysanthemum and focus on Bausch Leia, and that's going to be possible once we get out of Grand Arena, or once we get into Grand Arena. The second thing that's going to be great here that we can't see, one of the biggest highlights about our kit that I love, is going to be reinforcements have arrived. Now, we're going to talk about the poop and scoop strategy, which I kept calling it. That's what it feels like for me. But with reinforcements have arrived, with her Omicron on her, she calls us, well, before the Omicron, she calls allies to assist, which is pretty awesome. But once you're in Grand Arena, though, you get this amazing part where if another light side Mandalorian ally wasn't able to assist, they instead gain a bonus turn. What does Jabba have? Jabba has Leia, which has Deadly Bluff, which prevents you from attacking out of calling people to assist, attacking out of turn, all that fun stuff. If you have Bo-Katan use her opening assist and no one's coming to help because of Deadly Bluff, on paper, everyone on your team should get a bonus turn and start getting some big plays and quickly try to get out of Deadly Bluff. So keep that in mind. This might also be another opportunity for Jabba, but I can't promise that. You know, maybe going up against Master Luke will help when we have the Omicrons. It looked like it was maybe possible. Again, kind of getting stuck behind a taunt. This is a big deal. I think that's going to really, I think we're probably not giving enough credit how much ignoring taunt when you have a big swarm attack should look like. I wasn't super confident about Sith Eternal. I think you might be able to get a good play, but I can't promise that we'll be able to beat Sith Eternal. Supreme Leader Kyle Ren was another fairly easy battle. The team is so durable. We, at one point after I misplayed, we let Supreme Leader Kyle Ren go into ultimate several times, and we still won, which is pretty crazy. They can really eat up the hits. Rey was kind of annoying. I could see maybe in a world we might be able to get a Rey counter locked in potentially. Right now, sometimes Bo-Katan accidentally gets Sudden Whirlwind, and that's game over at that point. But with the increased 50% mastery, 50% max health, and 30 speed, it might be enough so Bo-Katan can maybe eat up a Sudden Whirlwind, and the capability of getting Paz Vizsla to taunt a lot more than otherwise. So we look at that spread. For a non-galactic legend character, that's a decent resume, or at least potential resume, that she has to offer. So right from the get-go, initial impressions, I wouldn't say she's quite like a Reva, where even before Grand Arena Omicrons, Reva was dunking on pretty much every galactic legend, maybe with the exception of Rey, and in most cases full autoing most galactic legends out there. But this is kind of a different type of character. It might be, I'd say, a step below where Reva might be. I'm kind of seeing her maybe somewhere in that Malicos, a little bit better than Darth Malgus range. And again, for an epic confrontation, not a galactic legend, she's got a lot of stuff. But the other things that are working really well is just the non-galactic legend stuff. Basically, we were able to beat every non-galactic legend team. Darth Malgus, Malicos, the Commander Luke Skywalkers, pretty much you name it, she was able to beat. However, with the exception of, we had a bit of an issue beating General Anakin Skywalker. When there's a General Skywalker inside of a Kenobi team, or just a 501st, before Omicrons, it was kind of a nasty battle, very difficult to work through. The days, the cooldown increases were a problem. Now, granted, inside of Grand Arena, she's immune to days, Bo-Katan Mandalore that is, but the rest of the Mandalorians can still get days, but the good thing is, again, she can cleanse, but cooldowns do get increased, and that was the biggest problem, because this team is very specific on turn order and making sure you get that big explosive play, and if General Anakin Skywalker gets out, it could really cause an issue. So hopefully, once we get into Grand Arena, maybe that's a battle that should be equalized, or maybe General Anakin Skywalker might just end up being a counter to her. So while we roll through all of the various gameplay with these other guys, I kind of just want to talk, I'll focus a little bit more on the highlights and what I liked and the couple of criticisms I have about this character. Not much, but there's still a couple criticisms nonetheless. First off, Wade the Mandalore, the leadership leadership ability. We'll talk about Omicrons later on. Spoiler alert, this is definitely the one you want to make sure you have applied. Straight from the get-go, the Mandalorians are so durable. 40% defense, 40% max health and offense, and if you've modded the way that we recommended earlier on, you're really going to get a lot of durability on this team, especially when you have the old school Bo on the team. This team feels very tanky, which kind of makes sense thematically. It's an army of Beskar armored warriors, so it kind of fits the theme. This was absolutely crippling when we're fighting things against Lord Vader, even Reva. I forgot to mention Reva. This is a great counter for Reva. Pre-Omicrons, we have to wait and see if the death mark might cause complications potentially, but this team, they get so much defense for all the debuffs on them, and they get so much true damage potential. True damage is really the core theme of this team, alongside the other stuff, of course. We're getting ton of Ancestral Resolve when we're doing true damage, dispelling debuffs, resisting debuffs, and oddly enough, getting to the max stacks of Ancestral Resolve, which is 100 stacks, it was not that hard, especially against things like Lord Vader and Reva. It went by very quickly. It wasn't too hard to ramp this up in most battles anyways, and I'm really looking forward to what this looks like in Grand Arena, because once those Omicrons are on, 50% master, 50% health, and 30 speed is a lot of stuff that we're leaving off the table right now. Or is it leaving on the table? Whatever the case, whatever the situation is. And of course, the big clause that makes me want to believe Master Kenobi should be countered. Like we said, in this leadership ability, the first light side Mandalorian ally that is defeated, each battle is revived and recovers 50% health and protection. So this is great. Number one, if Commander Tano insta-kills Paz, which is going to happen, Paz is going to revive it, and Kenobi's in trouble because now he has to go through a full, thick, daddy Mandalorian team. Furthermore, up against Lord Vader, when Maul does his opening play, kind of in a similar vein like Commander Tano, if Maul takes out someone right away, whether it's Bo, Paz, Vizsla, they should just revive right away. So again, these are metrics to help you counter mainly Maul and Commander Tano, because those two have those big explosive opening plays. And of course, they're getting more stacks of Ancestral Resolve. So everything you're seeing here is just going to be even easier moving out. And holy cow, Darksaber Flourish, this ability, my gosh. The armor shred, cool, it doesn't armor shred, but it deals additional true damage, or instance of true damage to a target enemy which can't be evaded, and you can possibly stun, which most times this ability would absolutely just kill someone. It sometimes felt like a Nihilist insta-kill when she's all ramped up, and if she has debuffs on her, which is almost all the time against Lord Vader, she has additional true damage, and she just can sometimes nuke someone out. It felt really good, especially as the battle ramped on. This would hit really hard. And of course, reinforcements have arrived. It first off cleanses everybody, calls everyone to assist twice, and they get tons of Ancestral Resolve on this. And just a brief reminder, if you don't remember what Ancestral Resolve does, 2% defense, 1% max health for each stack on this character, and whenever they do true damage, they deal additional true damage based on the number of stacks, which can't be evaded. So it's a lot going on, especially once you have 100 stacks of Ancestral Resolve. So we're increasing our durability, increasing our damage output. Now I want to talk about the poop and scoop strategy, which is really what this team is all about. I don't know, maybe, I don't know if you guys remember this. There used to be this show I used to watch all the time with my family. It was literally called Poop or Scoop. It sounds weird, but if you know, you know. It was like an HBO show that we watch on Saturdays. Anyways, let's talk about the poop and scoop strategy. This is basically the core opening play you want to give the Mandalorians. So as I said, Grogu goes first. You want Beskar Mando to basically go second on the team. Now, unlike before, the whistling birds on Beskar Mando is now actually a threat. I'm actually killing people. Even like sometimes I can, once Lord Vader's by himself, I can just nuke him out sometimes. So they finally fixed Beskar Mando's whistling birds, and it's now a threat, whereas before you'd never want to use it. It was not the greatest part of his kit. So Grogu opens up, dispels the debuffs, gets the blind and daze, all that jazz. Then you want Beskar Mando to go into his stance, which I call, it looks like he's pooping, so he goes in the poop stance. Then right after, you want Bo-Katan Mandalore to come in with the swarm attack ability. Reinforcements have arrived, which call all the Mandalorians to assist, letting him attack twice, and there's all that true damage going on. Basically, it gets Mando to the max stacks of whistling birds in the opening play, but with that Omicron, after she does reinforcements have arrived, which I call the scoop, so she looks like she's scooping the poop that Mando's slaying down. If another light side Mandalorian ally wasn't able to assist, they instead gain a bonus turn. Now, we talked about this hypothetically against Jabba, but really I think the main thing they're trying to aim for here is to quickly get Beskar Mando out of the poop stance and let him unleash the whistling birds in the opening play, which sometimes leads to a turn one kill for, not turn one, but it leads to almost an instant kill where you can probably like delete Maul very quickly. But as we said, there are other instances where this should be helpful besides just the poop and scoop strategy of Bo and Mando. If you're dazed, you're getting a bonus turn to quickly get out of that daze. If you're stunned, you quickly take a bonus turn to get out of the stun. If you have deadly bluff, you can't assist, so you're going to quickly try to take another turn. So I think Mando was the core thing that they're looking at with Bo and him, but obviously there's other things I want to make sure you keep in mind. So again, the Omicron here is kind of a big deal. So when we jam pack all that together, it really is such a fun character. The team feels good, the durability, the damage in there. I'm really liking Beskar Mando finally again. Before he was lucky, he was able to squeeze in to kind of be a Lord Vader counter for the Fennec team. But now I feel like I can appreciate most of his kit with Bo-Katan Mandalorian. This is where it just kind of, it's mostly nitpicks. It's not like big criticism, but I think it's holding this team from feeling like a 10 out of 10 team. The biggest problem that I have, and it's kind of a minute thing, but it would be nice. We were all expecting Beskar Mando to get a bit of a touch-up because in his kit, he really doesn't have a lot of Mandalorian synergy. He's mainly synergizing with this team well just by association with the Mandalorian tag, but it's kind of like he's kind of like how Asajj is to the Separatists. You know, she's synergized because of the Separatist tag, but there could be a lot more that she could have to offer Separatists if they would do something with her kit. Beskar Mando's kind of a similar thing, but luckily the Mandalorian tag is so powerful on this team, and Bo can kind of carry him along to get him to take those bonus turns, making his whistling birds do a lot more damage, where I give it a pass, but I would love if Wonder of the Force could work on Mandalorians. We were expecting that at the minimum, or even if they threw out and made it an Omicron where his Wonder of the Force also works on Mandalorians. We're not even seeing that. Like, sometimes I'm seeing Bo get beaten up or even Paz visit. Man, would it be great if I could just step in and do Wonder of the Force on Bo or Paz. The good thing is Grogu's a scoundrel as well as the old school Bo-Katan, so at least we have 3 of the 5 members that can trigger Wonder of the Force. And the reason why I kind of give this a pass, because once we get into Grand Arena, Bo-Katan's lead already has like a revive mechanic, so it's not a Wonder of the Force damage duty, but if someone gets pinged off right away or they die off, they just revive. So that's why I kind of give it a pass. Mando can protect 3 of the members, and if Bo or Paz dies off and Beskar Mando can't save them, Bo-Katan's lead just revives them again, so long as there's no anti-revive like General Anakin Skywalker. So that's why I'm not too mad about it, but it's an annoyance, right? It's like, you know, a fly buzzing around you. It's not a big deal, but it's annoying. You know, just do something about it. So I don't know, maybe down the road, but I can't promise that. They haven't done it now. I can't promise anything for the future, but that is something to keep in mind. It's just annoying. It's like, man, why can't you do Wonder of the Force right now? Especially to cleanse. It would be nice if I could have just cleansed them too, but I digress. And just briefly, speaking of Beskar Mando, all of a sudden, man, he's kind of like needed for a couple things. He went from a character I didn't like, wasn't using, then all of a sudden, you know, Lord Vader came out, and then Beskar Mando was helpful against that with Fennec, and now the Mandalorians, they need him. So for those like me who I've been using Fennec, versus Lord Vader for the longest time. It's a high degree of consistency for me. The first thing that's a little puzzling, it's so cool that she can dunk on Lord Vader, but I feel like I beat most Lord Vaders than not. So it's kind of hard for me to be excited about the Bo-Katan beating Lord Vader, but it's a lot simpler. I will admit that. It basically, it feels like you can just do it with your eyes closed. They can probably full auto Lord Vader once you get into Grand Arena. So there's that. Maybe you'd want something that feels a little bit easier than a Fennec, which has a bit of a nuance to it sometimes. But the good thing is, if you still want to have, let's say Bo does beat Master Kenobi, but you still want to beat Lord Vader in a cheap manner. Technically, you could still beat Lord Vader without Beskar Mando. You could use your Zam Wesell Omicron. You get the increased durability on the team. You know, you just run that risk that you just don't have a damage ability. But generally, with the extra speed and whatnot, you get Bosk the taunt before Maul does his opening jazz hand. So I still think you'll have your Lord Vader counter Fennec, even without Beskar Mando. So that way you can feel confident keeping Beskar Mando here. So you're not really losing something, but you're gaining something really good, if just by moving Mando over to this team. Otherwise, I'm going to be honest, for the context of this character, it's not a galactic legend where I'm not expecting to beat every single galactic legend. For what I'm seeing right now, pre-Grand Arena Omicron's a game mode that I think most of us care about. If it was territories, I'd probably be, listen, I like to be transparent. If this is the territories, I'd probably be like, ooh, yeah, you know, yeah, when we talk about territories. With the Grand Arena Omicron, I'm extremely optimistic about using this character for the course of time. I think she sits somewhere not quite as high as Reva, as I said, but probably somewhere where like a Malicos would settle in. I think she'll probably have a decent degree of defense. The viability, we're going to have to wait and see. Again, once you get into Grand Arena, you can really see the full picture. I think she's going to be a great offensive powerhouse. I think she's giving the old title of Epic Confrontation a good name. General Anakin Skywalker was transformative when he came out. Malik was transformative when he came out, and then it's been silent since then. In 2023, we're ending it with another Epic Confrontation. Overall, I can safely say I'm having a lot of fun with this character, and I'm really looking forward to finally using her in her full capacity whenever 2024 comes around. Gosh, I wish they give us more ways to play with these characters out when there's no Grand Arena going on. At least let me use Omicrons and Squad Arena anyways. Although right now it sucks. That's just the way Galaxy of Heroes is. It's basically impossible to really get her free-to-play friendly right now before even Calvin Becca's free-to-play farmable. As of everything, the next go-around, number 2, 3, 4 times she comes back, we're going to see the adoption rates go up.
And real quick, let's talk about the Omicron recommendations. Number 1, I would recommend
we have the Mand'alor as the must-have Omicron to get all that juicy mastery, max health and speed, getting more taunts, and more importantly, the revive mechanism to make sure you counteract the Commander Tano on a Kenobi team, or in the situation Maul takes out someone on a Lord Vader team in the opening play, or just in general. It's good to have a revive to make sure your team is staying on track for victory, and of course, getting even more Ancestral Resolve, which is a lot on this team. Number 2, I would recommend for Mandalore, the ability to ignore taunt is probably the most important thing, but of course, the immune to daze, and on top of that, being able to get constant extra max health, max offense on Bo is also going to be big on a character that's already hitting pretty darn hard. And this one, I would say if you don't have all 3, you can maybe skip out on this one, but I still would recommend it. It's the least important one, but it's still a very important one. Being able to get more Ancestral Resolve, and more importantly, being able to assist. If you don't get to assist, you get the bonus turn. So, as we said, this could be great against Jabba, it could be great for Beskar Mando, it could be great to counteract stuns and dazes, so I recommend this one on top of the others. I feel confident, unlike some other things in the past like Grand Inquisitor, I wasn't feeling like you're going to get great bang per buck. The fact that basically all of her requirements are going to be used on her team, Grogu, Paz, and Beskar Mando, that right there alone makes me even want to try to chase this on my free-to-play account come next year. And Kelleran Beck is an amazing addition for the Jedi, as we've talked about. So overall, the package was good, the character's good, Evo was mostly fun, a couple of annoyances of Tier 3, but overall manageable. I'd say for ending out 2023, we're ending off the year on a very good note. So that's gonna wrap it up for today, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate you stopping by on the last character of 2023. Nothing but positive vibes from me, ladies and gentlemen. And again, thank you as always for the support coming out to the stream. It was a banger, it was a lot of fun. You guys bring the energy and heat. Like always, leave that like, comment down below, subscribe so you're not missing a thing. And always remember, it's great to be in the Empire today.
The sun never sets. We dominate.